All right. Um, well, the other day I was going to the store, and something caught my this picture caught my eye. I think I seen it somewhere. Like I was walking, and I was like, wow, I seen it. Like, man, Missy. I've been into her music since 1997. That's like around the same time I got into hip hop and music. I was like, she was like pretty much the first artist. Her, Timberland, and Genuine and Aaliyah all at the same time. We gon' show you how we party. That song there, I was like the first thing I damn near like. I've heard songs when I was younger, of course, but I was in Christianity and church. I really couldn't listen to anything at all. Like so, so when I did hear it, I heard it from other people's cars, or I heard about Passion on TV when we didn't have cable. So like I heard it, like I remember New York Undercover had the song So I Creep, yeah, by TLC, and they had the song playing. It was one of the episodes of New York Undercover. I remember that, and I can remember that song just for that reason to this day, because I don't remember hearing any songs. But anyway, this is about Missy Elliott, not about me. So Missy Elliott, as you read in the title, is the deity Hathor. Okay, and I have reason because I'm going through this journey, and I was reading this part of this book, and I was reading this part of the book, and when I finished reading this section of this book that I was doing, I usually try to read one section and then go to the next section at a different time, and because it all tie in and makes sense. But when I read it, I have like this thing with Aaliyah. She talks to me every once in a while in the form of Akasha. You know what I'm saying? That's just more likely just the Akashic records speaking to me. But I see her face. I dealt with her plenty of times, and so I was after I finished reading that section on Hathor, out of this book. The section on Hathor was out of this book. So while I was in the grocery store the other day, I seen her on the cover. I'm like, oh, I gotta get it. Something just told me to get it. When the answers to speak to you, either you move or you lose. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to move. And so when they told me to get it, so I was reading a book I always been reading for a while. Back and forth. I've been reading in and out of this book. And then after I finished that section, Aaliyah came to me. She said, "Why don't you go ahead and read the magazine? Because I wanted to see what Missy talking about." And I can hear it, her voice and everything, her smile and everything, how she's laughing and everything. And I was like, all right. So actually, before the book, I was like, yeah, I'll read the magazine. But after I read the book, and then after I finished reading my section of the book, and Leah came directly right to me. She was like, "You gonna read the magazine now?" I've been waiting, and so I was like, all right. And so I picked up the magazine, right. And I knew the cover was, when I bought it, I knew the cover was dope. I'm like, this is like royalty. So I'm like, when I saw it, excuse me, I'm trying to hold it while sitting here. So I knew it just looks like royalty, just by the hair, everything, the earrings, the nose ring, the jacket, everything, the rings, everything about it. It's not just the material, but everything that goes with it, with her creativity and all that. I always thought she was a exclusively prime, prime material. She's the top echelon. You go to a restaurant, you get the highest costing thing on the menu. That's what Missy is. She's excellent. She's musical excellence. That's how I look at it. It's hip hop. How can you say it's excellence? In a form, when they give you something and they give you lemons. You make a whole meal out of lemons. How do you do that? With your mind. It's magic. So she is magic, but I will explain what I'm talking about. All right, this is another picture out of the magazine. Major Missy. I don't want to get my hands in the way of these pictures. These are nice pictures. Dope. Excellence. I'm like, this is just like you could just see it, just like a queen just sitting inside of a seat. You know what I'm saying? Dope. Very dope. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna read one section of the magazine, read the whole part of the magazine, and then go to the book. What I'm gonna do is go back and forth, so I can show you comparisons. This wind is blowing. So what I'm gonna do is go back and forth between this book and this magazine here, so I can make comparisons, so I can show you why Aaliyah, she asked me to read this part, read this magazine with dealing with Missy, and it tied in exactly right when I read that part of the book. It was right on point, and I'll show you. And once I finish, funny, before I'm gonna get right to it, but Aaliyah, once I finish this part of reading her part of the magazine, like it's just like Aaliyah was like laughing, and then the funny part is, she mentions Aaliyah 555 just passed. She mentions Aaliyah, which is my aunt, and Aaliyah passed at 22 years old. She left us in the physical form at 22 years old. That's two numbers. That's like a mirror image. So my aunt is balanced. So, and she was Akasha in the movie. Akasha was the first primal form. So my aunt is one of the first female deities. So, you know, just a little bit, but she's so I guess you can pretty much say 555 means balance. To me, it means balance. So you can pretty much say she's still right here while I'm doing it. So anyway, I'm gonna get right to it. Okay, it says this spring, Melissa Arnett Elliott stood before a mass of Berklee College of music students and faculty in Boston. She requested a moment to gather herself. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, and tears began to fall freely over her smiling face. She opened her eyes and she began to speak to the graduating class, herself among them. So she graduated too. Also, she got her doctorate. Just before being awarded an honorary doctorate. All right. So when she closed, so the person that's interviewing her, they're gonna give you a little background. So everything you should see in yellow is not originally part of the magazine. This is what I have done with my highlight. Yeah. So so it matches. So when you're a reader, you have to keep highlighters on deck, so you can go back and revisit thoughts you might have had. But yeah. So of course, Missy, she's working on a new album. So, but all right. So the lady the person that's interviewing her asked her. I asked Elliot if she remembers standing there for those 20 seconds. She hadn't known it had been quite that long, I confirmed. I counted to make sure her eyelids, painted green and shimmering under the overhead lights, flutter a few times while she thinks about it more. Okay. She's Missy Elliot. She went somewhere else entirely. Okay. I went to the side of my grandmother's house where I used to play church. Now you think about it, grandmother is the great mother, grandmother, the great mother. So it's like Newt, pretty much. Okay, Newt is the great mother of when you see the dark the dark sky outside. That's Newt, and all those stars are all her the bodies, or the bodies of light inside of her. Okay. I used to shout and sing all kinds of gospel songs, ones I had made up, ones that existed in the church. I was at that place when she's referring to it when she had her eyes closed while she was on her speech. Elliot considers herself a very spiritual person. For her, God is real, because I went to that place and felt like he had his hands on me from a child. All right, so she said she went to some place, right? A place that she's known all her life, at her grandmother's place. All right. Hathor's most defining symbol is the sacred cow, right? So if you remember the whole story with Moses, it's just allegory. It's not nothing that really happened. So get out your feelings. These are all stories, but stories about ourselves, pretty much about melanated people. Hathor's most defining symbol is the sacred cow. The cosmic is, you know, out there out in space. You know, so-called NASA can't really do anything else. They can't go out there. Why they can't go to the moon again? But I digress. Let's keep going. The cosmic cow of the night sky, whose nourishing milk is the substance, of the river of the night, the Milky Way. Okay, by some she is considered the oldest goddess, and she is intimately related with Nut. Nut is the dark sky, the oldest goddess. Like I said, she had envisioned herself at her grandmother's house, right? Okay, on the side of her grandmother's house. The house is the body, and the body of Nut is the dark sky. So you see Nut, the dark sky with the stars, that's Nut right there. Same thing. One of the oldest deities, female deities, or deities period. The mother of all deities. The sky deity, for it is her loving nourishment that is radiated from the cosmos. She is also considered part of the triad that includes Sekhmet and Bast. Those are both feline or cat looking deities too also. And by some accounts, it's interchangeable with Sekhmet. So when she came out with the song "She's a Bitch," like Sekhmet is looked at as like a bitch because she damn near took out a whole nation, but she was tricked to feel like to feel that most of the people that she was trying to kill were already dead when they were actually trying to keep her off her back. Okay, let's get back to where I'm at. It was veneration of her as the golden calf. I'm going to tell you about the Moses story. That instigated the furor at Mount Sinai, resulting in upheaval and the consequent split that divided pantheism and monotheism. Monotheism is to have one religion base. Pantheism is to put all of them together. So they had to split. That was pretty much what it was about. The whole story was about. Hathor is vast and complex, and her functions in this work are not at all at odds with her more. I want y'all to be able to see everything I'm reading, so you know I'm not making up nothing. I will not lead you astray. Her vast, complex, and her functions in this work are not at all at odds with her more conventional representations as the goddess of love, sensuality, celebration, and intoxication. Remember, she had the glass. He said in the video, he said, "You drinking? You think I'm Halle Berry?" The same thing in the video, same thing in the song. She was saying, "Remember that." We don't realize we're doing certain things that we've done before, but just doing it in a human form. But here she conveys her magic in very specific ways in order to prepare us for what follows. Okay, she says, whether you believe in God or not, something about Elliot's ability to push the boundaries around recording and visual art feels beyond human ability. She's like the Cheshire cat. When I just said Sekhmet and Bast, they're cat deities. So with the cat has the huge smile, so where you can see the gums of the cat. And so Missy Elliot has this great smile. I always noticed since I was younger. She always had a great smile. So that was, that's another thing, another similarity. Sidebar. She was like, after I did the Super Bowl in 2015, which was the actual, like it says in here, which was the highest represented Super Bowl halftime show of all time. So when they put people in a halftime show, these are actual rituals. There's nothing wrong with having rituals. And it's like, oh, Illuminati, no, we're the illuminated people, illuminated beings, people that have light. That's what Illuminati means, to illuminate, to shed light. So that's all that means. When you actually make yourself scared of these so-called people that, you know, they say they're the Illuminati, you actually making yourself scared of yourself. Just like the story with the devil. When you have, it's made 666, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. You're making yourself scared of yourself. All right, so just shake that shit. You know what I'm saying? Get rid of that whole thinking. All right, back to this. After I did the Super Bowl in 2015, my friends called me in, and they are like, that bullshit music, and they are like, so what excuse me, so what you about to do? I'm looking at like so many shit at one time. So what you about to do? I'm here mopping my floor, and I got to wash the dogs, and they're like, what? So I guess they're figuring like she's supposed to be like, oh, I'm gonna be out on the town and all this everywhere. That's how people lose themselves. They get caught up in the sauce. But she knows her creativity or her music is what it is, and you're not finna make that what I've done a part of my everyday life, because that's my creativity. Because I know my normalcy is I can have my creativity throughout my normalcy. You never know. She might be creating in her mind while she's like mopping the floor or washing her dogs. She might be creating her next big hit while she's thinking, while she's doing that, because it keeps her in another place. But you put them in Hollywood. That's where they make stars. She was born a star. Remember I told you about the Milky Way. You're born a star. They can't make you a star. They'll try to make you one, but you were already born a star. So I don't believe these motherfuckers. Another example. I was in the car with Michelle Obama for carpool karaoke in 2016, and they called me like, girl, we got to celebrate. That's huge. And I'm like, I'm watching a movie on Netflix. Maybe that's how she celebrate. You feel what I'm saying? She's just taking her time and just watching a movie, but a movie unlocks certain things or dimensions or certain portals in your mind. When you see something that's out of your realm or you haven't noticed before, or a story that's put in visual form, you know what I'm saying, that might be building her creativity. So you don't have to be out and about doing certain things to, you know, look like a star when you already that. But that's what you want to do with yourself. That's just lessons inside of a lesson. Lessons on lessons on lessons. Like I was saying, Sekhmet, she said in the video, she's a bitch video. At the time, I didn't even think about it, but I look at it now, and I'm like, this is still so many years ahead. Now, new Missy music is coming. She says it's time to make street dudes enjoy dancing again, like in the days of Soul Train. It's okay, she says. It's not corny to dance, right? Just like dancing Shiva. Shiva in the Hindu mythology, you know, he dances that builds energy. You unlock realms, and you also can dream more when you're dancing. So he has Kali, Parvati. They're like looked at as the same, but have different dimensions of themselves. But when they dance like physically dance like to a beat or without no music, or they dance in the bed. So she said, "Can you work it? Can you work it?" You know that, like, you know what I'm saying. You know that's what I'm saying. The same shit. She putting out the energy. We just see it as, oh man, it's some freaky shit. That's the same shit. But it's something that's coming out of her, that's her creative side, that's giving you something to get down to. So she's saying she says it's time to make the street dudes enjoy dancing again, like in the days of Soul Train. It's okay, she says, it's not corny. And that's even better for melanated people. So for the guys on the streets, that's now you get to dance with your woman. If it's a woman out, if you're not hurting somebody or getting put in jail, you actually making it better for our people. You're making us stronger. We can actually kill this third dimensional plane. Oh, now you know what I'm saying. So I applaud her. I want Missy to keep doing what she's doing. I say. She says she used to she used to the doubt in her ability of trajectory. She knew that she wanted to do this for the rest of her life when she was in kindergarten. This is why you have to listen to kids. So when she says that you already did, sometimes you just don't realize it. But like, I'm coming to realize certain things. I had to go through certain things myself. But you are certain deities, and you have a certain mission to accomplish. Missy says, it's funny because I was just telling somebody that everything I've done. And that's how powerful the tongue is. The tongue is the sword. The tongue you can actually use to actually slay a lot of things. A lot of negative things, or a lot of so-called positive things. If it's too positive, you know what I'm saying, you need a healthy balance, which is come back to Ma'at again. Speaking desire into existence is not a new idea by any means. She was like, there was no money to support her artist dream. She had no family member who could make the right connections or help her get a head start in her highly competitive chosen field. There was her talent, and there was her faith. Trust me, I was broke, and my family would be like, you better find something to do. They told me to go to the army, and I'm like, I'm too fat to go to the army. where I am running to. Everything just seemed so impossible at the time because we didn't have the technology to be able to reach out and put your stuff online and people get a chance to see it. So that just goes to show you now we have it easy to have our artistry put out nowadays, because back in those days you had to be in the right spot in the right time, and things had to just flow, and people in the industry pretty much know, so like I kind of have my hand in certain things, but that's not about me. It's about Missy. So what I'm saying is so what she's saying is very true, so I understand what she's saying. Hathor has a cow tail, and she turns and laughs. Like I said, Missy has a big, beautiful smile. I always notice that also. Let's see. She carried. Make sure you see everything I see. She carries herself with an eminence that, when combined with her inner peace, conveys an unhurried grace that is the result of having brought opposites together. I was saying she's actually trying to bring the street dudes into dancing. Okay, bringing the street dudes into dancing, that's going to bring a very healthy balance to melanated people. When you understand that nothing is lost and all things that happen are comings and goings in the natural cycles of the universe, there is no worry and no hurry. There is simply alchemy, which is the same thing as love. All right, just in case you don't know what alchemy is the art that turns whatever is considered to be ugly, such as a lump of coal. Coal is like it's like melanin, carbon, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Like I said again, 666 is not a bad number. The church, they're paid by the government. They get a grant. 501c3. A 501c3 is to where they'll pay you to give. They'll pay you certain tax-free breaks. So they pretty much paying people to stay out of certain other areas, so the preacher can teach them what the government wants the people to know. So that keeps them what? Docile. All right, and not knowing of certain things. All right, the wind is starting to pick up. Let me pause. Okay, let me get back to where I was. The lump of coal into its highest potential as the diamond. Whatever is lowly in form, when balanced with love, turns divine. In the dimension of form, the greater the darkness, the greater the light. Okay, she says, I remember listening to my older cousins and younger aunts' CDs as a preteen. Aaliyah. So like I was telling you, Aaliyah was telling me, Aaliyah was telling me, she was telling me that, you know, I bet, and also she was like, I bet she gonna say either say my name or say something about me, because, you know, or and she wanted to hear the interview. That's why she wanted me to read this too. Also, she said I got something in here for you. And so she was like, Aaliyah, Total, Sierra, Tweet, Nicole Ray. Nicole Ray is very underrated. You know, all these women are, but Nicole Ray, I don't think she got the just due that she's supposed to have gotten, etc. And all of them gorgeous black women. Okay, say it with me. And all of these gorgeous black women of enormous talent, and all. Man, it's getting hard to read when the sun is on here like this. All of these with enormous talent, and all of them associated with or directly developed by Elliot. What struck me was how many of these women were presented as beautiful and capable with their deep, dark, black skin. I just read that out of a book. Okay? Deep, dark, black skin. By that age, I had already been inundated with the idea that, according to music videos, the most beautiful shade of black was furthest from its name. That means damn near like a white woman or very light, bright skin. There's nothing wrong. We all come in melanated people, or so-called black people, or so-called African American people. We come in all different shades. What she's saying is she would like to see a balance, because in the videos back in those days, like, you wasn't a beautiful woman unless you was light bright, or you was light skinned, as they like to call it, a yellow yellow bone. Like what Gucci might say, yellow. Anyway, I digress, my nigga. But anyway, then there was Tweet. And Tweet, now you gotta think, Tweet is one of the nicest, chocolatest women I have ever seen. Nice voice too, also, and she's hell on the guitar. Okay, hell on the guitar. Beautiful woman, absolutely beautiful woman. Then she was very underrated too. You know, just because of that one song when she was talking about, you know, the first single was talking about masturbation, and everybody else was like, oh, we want to hear more of that. You can't pigeonhole an artist, because you kill their creativity when you pigeonhole them, and they don't pigeonhole themselves. You pigeonhole them if you want to keep them in the same spot, because they can't grow. Then there was Tweet. I thought I'd never seen anyone so beautiful sing so pretty. Elliot smiles at the mention of her friend's name. When I saw Tweet, it was like something is so special about her that is so different. Elliot recalls, I remember watching the way she played the guitar, and I said, this is interesting. She's not playing it upright, she's playing it flat. But the reason is so she could see the strings, because she taught herself how to play. And I was like, that is amazing to me. Exactly. That's of course, when people are like, when you actually teach yourself something instead of going by something that's already set up for you, it's more of the talent will show, because it's more of you plucking certain guitars or hitting the drum a certain way that's not pre-told to you, so you're not trying to reenact something. You actually going with a flow that you created. And that's like melanin or magic, melanin magic. Shout out to Remy Ma for that. You know what I'm saying? It's really, she couldn't say black magic, but melanin magic is perfect, because melanin magic, melanin is our magic, or black people's magic. Shout out to Salt and Pepper, that had an album called Black's Magic. And so that's dope. And that's, I gotta check the time, because I don't know if Salt and Pepper, that was the last album they ever came out with, because you try to get that much information to melanated people or black people, the industry that's ran by Jews, they will strike you down for that shit. So all you do now is see them on TV, and one of the members of Salt and Pepper is a Christian now, like, and they was like out there, and like, and Tupac, he loved Salt and Pepper. Push It was like one of his favorite songs of all time. So that when you have brothers dancing to your shit, like you have like the brothers on the street dancing to your shit, that's powerful, because you're doing something to the melanin. I say the melanin is working when you can make the brothers dance as well as the sisters, and you creating a craze which is chaos. Chaos is melanin. Chaos magic. That's what so-called white people or crackers or Caucasoids from the Caucasus Mountains, the dead mountains, because they have the melanin they have a low count of melanin in them, but not as much as us. So when they do that, you put the brothers, like I said again, you put the brothers in jail. Now you don't have as many men out there with the women. So now the women outnumber the men. So now there's just men in jail and women just out here by themselves with, by themselves with children. That's it. Think about it. So like I was saying with Tweet, the greater the darkness, the greater the light. That's why she said she was so talented. The information, the light that comes from her exudes. Illuminati. Illuminate is to shed light. In the past, we've needed intense experiences such as war and other suffering to birth higher levels of consciousness. In physical form, suffering creates the friction that heats up the fires of transformation. A great deal of suffering may become unnecessary as we learn to create from beauty and consciousness rather than from intensity and suffering. So I was saying how Missy was mopping the floor and cleaning her dogs and watching a movie on Netflix. Peep this. As we evolve consciously, we are able to create our spiritual lessons without so much drama and with beauty, perhaps even in another dimension. So if Missy wasn't out and about while she was hot from that Super Bowl performance, and also that sing along with Michelle Obama, she probably been like the talk of the town. People been running up on her and all this stuff, this drama, TMZ and all that shit would have been all up on her. But she wouldn't have been able to. As we evolve consciously, we are able to create our spiritual lessons without so much drama and with beauty, perhaps even in another dimension. She's in another, like I said before, she was probably in another dimension while she was cleaning, getting her creativity on. You know what I'm saying? Like people say, I clean the house with music on. Missy probably hear music while she cleaning and cleaning her dogs, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Like creativity don't have to be like, it don't have to be exuded to somebody make you a star. You are a walking star. And peace and harmony, peace in her house while she cleaning, peace with her dogs, peace watching Netflix. Peace and harmony will naturally occur. This is a certain amount of disintegration that is necessary in order for beauty to burst forth. Beauty is something that was created. Missy is a creator. She's one of our greatest creators. So if she's a creator, why bring on the drama which could I've never heard of no real bullshit with Missy. She always out of the way. So if she out of the way, she can create, and that helps our